All right, we've gotten our hands on something pretty wild. Think of it as intercepted field notes. They're from an alien observer whose mission was simple: just figure out what in the world humanity is all about. And the main takeaway? It's not what you'd expect. So let's just try to get into that mindset for a second. Imagine you could actually step outside of yourself. Disconnect from all your feelings, your baggage, your to-do list. If you could just look at this planet from a totally neutral, outside perspective, what would you even make of these creatures we call humans? Well, according to our alien observer, the answer is shockingly simple. After watching everything, our wars, our arts, our 9-to-5 jobs, the report just keeps coming back to this one single line over and over. It's all play. Every single bit of it. The Earth isn't some serious proving ground, it's a playground. So that's the first big finding the observer gets into. From the outside looking in, it seems like humans are just totally, completely, maybe even unconsciously obsessed with the idea of play. And what's really interesting is how wide this definition of play is. I mean, it's not just for kids. The games just get way more complicated as we get older. You've got all the sports, endless movies and shows, but also this really deep-seated need to just experience stuff. Climbing a mountain just to see the view, or feeling the sun on your skin. It's all about testing what this body and this world can do. It's like this fundamental drive we all have. And this whole idea gets even stronger when the observer starts looking at the simulations that humans create for themselves. I mean, the best evidence for this playground theory is sitting right there in our video games. They're like this bizarrely accurate mirror of our own reality. Seriously, think about it. Going to work every single day, what is that? It's basically a mission to collect coins so you can trade them for stuff and power-ups. Building a family and a career, that's a life simulation game. Even the really dark stuff, like war, we replicate it perfectly in strategy games. It's like we're constantly playing a game that's a perfect copy of the bigger game we're already in. And this is where things get really blurry. The observer points to this game called Second Life, where people build whole other lives. They get jobs, they buy houses, and they actually fall in love and get married, with real honest-to-God emotions for their digital characters. The play starts to look exactly like real life. Okay, so if it's all just a game, then what's driving us, the players? Well, the observer has a theory that we humans have some kind of internal code, a mysterious little something inside that makes us want to push the boundaries of our world. The report gives it a name, the player chip. You could call it a soul, maybe. It's this deep, built-in part of every single person that just knows, on some quiet level, that all of this is a temporary experience. It's the part of you that gets bored with the main storyline and decides to go find some random side quests. And this chip is why we do stuff that makes no logical sense at all. Why ride a camel in a desert? Why would anyone jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Why does a billionaire who could never spend all their money fight so hard to make more? It's the player just wanting to see what happens. The report even says this extends to our darkest curiosities, that strange urge to explore something forbidden, just to see what it's like. The observer even has an explanation for this super common human thing. You know that weird, fleeting thought you have to just swerve your car into traffic or jump off a high ledge? We call them intrusive thoughts and kind of nervously laugh them off. But the report suggests that's actually the player chip testing the game's physics engine, whispering, "Go on, what would happen? Are you sure this is all real?" But every now and then, the game itself seems to break. The observer cataloged a ton of things that just don't follow the normal rules of our 3D reality. It calls them glitches in the code. So, take what we call a hallucination. It's this tidy little label we've made up for when someone sees or hears or feels something that nobody else can verify. We just dismiss it. Problem solved. But here's the critical question the observer asks. What if these aren't errors? What if hallucinations are actually moments where a player is getting a quick peek behind the curtain of the 3D game? A little glimpse of the code that's running everything in the background. The report points out this really funny pattern in human history. Things that start out as totally woo-woo or complete nonsense, ghost stories, ancient healing, alternative medicine. Every now and then, they end up getting accepted or even proven by science later on. It kind of suggests our understanding of the game we're in is, incomplete. But there's a big warning attached. Trying to mess with the game's code directly, it's risky. The observer uses a computer analogy. If you try to run a program that's way too powerful for your computer,
The processor overheats and the whole thing crashes. The idea is that if a human brain gets exposed to too much of the reality behind a game, it can fry and just not be able to function in the 3D world anymore. So, after looking at the players, the game itself, and all its weird glitches, the observer gets to the final, biggest question of all. What's the whole point? And the conclusion is actually pretty profound. This whole Earth game, it's just one of who knows how many experiments all running at the same time. And the goal isn't to win, or to be perfect, or to get to some finish line. The whole purpose of the game is just to play. The meaning of life is simply to live it, to feel all the things, whether they're amazing, or awful, or deep, or totally shallow. And this right here reveals the basic trap of the whole system. We are literally designed to believe that our reality is the only reality. The game is all you know, so you can't even imagine anything outside of it. Until, a glitch happens, and you suddenly see a little crack in the wall. And this isn't a mistake. The report says the game is intentionally coded this way to stop us from ever fully figuring it out. Because if you knew with 100% certainty that it was all just a game, it wouldn't be a real experience anymore. The whole experiment would be pointless. So the report leaves us with this one instruction. And let's try it right now. Just for a second, be that alien observer. Step back from your own feelings, your identity, your problems, and just look at this strange, chaotic, beautiful game that's playing out all around you. So in the end, if this observer is right, you are a player with a character running around in this huge, complicated playground. And you've been hardwired to take it all deadly seriously, to totally forget it's a game. So knowing that, what side quest are you going to pick? What new thing are you going to try to unlock? What game are you going to play today?